Something in Hollywood just snapped, sending shockwaves through the industry. One moment, Blake Lively was the golden girl, Ryan Reynolds was the witty leading man everybody adored, and their combined star power seemed unbreakable. Then, almost overnight, everything imploded in a swirl of lawsuits, rumored tantrums, and jaw-dropping accusations. The most unexpected figure in all of this? Candace Owens, who stepped in and flipped the entire script. If you thought the picture-perfect image of Blake and Ryan was carved in stone, prepare to see how quickly a pedestal can crumble under the weight of hidden agendas, resentments, and carefully guarded secrets. The cracks began to show when rumors surfaced about behind-the-scenes power moves on Blake Lively's latest project. It started small, a rumor here, a gossip column there, until the speculation became impossible to ignore. Whispers claimed that Blake wasn't just the sweet, down-to-earth star her fans believed. She was allegedly pulling strings, leveraging studio executives, and sidelining people who didn't align with her vision. Nobody expected Candace Owens to enter the arena, but as soon as she did, the entire drama ballooned into a legal showdown. Candace, known for her unfiltered takes, decided she'd had enough of what she viewed as a manipulative, self-serving machine operating behind Blake Lively's polished facade. She brought receipts, legal documents, and a bold attitude to prove her point. Before long, what had begun as a low hum of scandal became a deafening roar, echoing through press outlets and social media feeds. If anyone thought this would be just another Hollywood tiff that fizzles out, Candace's involvement put an end to that notion. She brought an arsenal of allegations, including intimidation tactics, hush-hush agreements, and personal vendettas, and promised to expose them all. From that moment on, you could almost feel the tension rise to a fever pitch as the very pillars of celebrity PR began to shake. For years, Blake Lively cultivated the image of a wholesome Hollywood actress, glamorous but approachable, a doting mother, and a seemingly supportive spouse. She was the star of red carpets and magazine covers, always smiling for the cameras with flawless composure. Yet the moment Candace Owens slammed down her legal gauntlet, a different version of Blake began to emerge. Insiders started talking about the real Blake Lively, the one who micromanaged every aspect of her career and, allegedly, her husband's career. According to leaked emails and text messages, she fought tooth and nail behind closed doors for creative control, even at the expense of coworkers and collaborators. There were hints of a larger power play. If you didn't cater to her demands, you found yourself elbowed out of the project. This was more than a simple case of a high-profile celebrity pushing for the best possible outcome. The speculation had people asking whether Blake thrived on controlling the narrative to the point of leaving wreckage behind her. Behind that charming interview persona, rumor had it she was staging a war, using every PR tool, every hush-hush, phone call, every backdoor deal. Still, the public wasn't quite ready to believe America's on-screen sweetheart could have such sharp edges. Candace Owens was about to serve the harshest reality check Hollywood had seen in a while. Candace Owens may not be a Hollywood star, but she demonstrated that all you need to blow the lid off an industry's secret is persistence, evidence, and the willingness to go head-to-head with powerful figures. She claimed that Blake Lively was not just participating in the usual Hollywood politicking, but running a complex scheme to retain complete control over a film's production, even if it meant bulldozing careers. When Candace filed her own legal action, she did more than just make accusations. She backed them up with documents, leaked text messages, and testimonies from people who'd had run-ins with the Lively Reynolds machine. Though Blake's team tried to dismiss these moves as publicity stunts or thin-skinned outrage, the paper trail spoke for itself. It revealed phone calls to studio heads, pointed threats of walking away from major productions, and the direct naming of individuals Candace argued were manipulated or strong-armed into submission. The real kicker was Candace's unflinching style of presenting her evidence. She used attention-grabbing language, hammered at the alleged hypocrisy, and made sure the public realized this wasn't a run-of-the-mill, he said, she said. In her narrative, it was a case of unscrupulous bullying orchestrated by two of Hollywood's biggest names. By the time the dust settled on Candace's first public statement, fans and insiders alike were scrambling to understand just how deep this rabbit hole went. Ryan Reynolds had always been the lovable prankster, the charming talk show guest with a quick joke at the ready. But when the lawsuits started piling up, that cheery front vanished. According to court documents, Ryan had allegedly taken Blake's side to the point of personally smearing another figure in the film world, labeling him a predator at high-profile events. He attempted to brush off such statements as harmless banter or comedic satire, but the courts weren't laughing. Candace Owens didn't let Ryan off the hook either. She maintained that Ryan was deeply involved, acting as Blake's representative, forging alliances, and threatening to derail entire productions if things didn't go their way. Leaked texts suggested that Ryan may have orchestrated certain confrontations and fanned the flames behind the scenes. His legal team scrambled for a defense, insisting that everything was being misrepresented, but judges rejected the notion that labeling someone a predator in public forums was innocent or inconsequential. Even more damning were hints of additional evidence, private communications, rumored messages with other celebrities, and revelations about how deeply Ryan had personally contributed to the meltdown. The tabloids quickly seized on every scrap, painting him as equally responsible for orchestrating press leaks and strategic smear campaigns. No amount of wry humor could smooth over the brewing storm, and within months, Ryan's usually pristine image looked battered and uncertain. By this point, the legal saga was no longer just a question of personal grudges. The stakes had skyrocketed. Studios found themselves in potential breach of contract as scheduling and production were thrown into chaos. Millions of dollars were at risk. High-ranking executives, once eager to align with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for box office gold, now saw them as liabilities who might derail entire film projects. Rumors surfaced about big-name producers getting forced to testify about phone conversations in which they'd allegedly caved to extortion-like demands. Some insisted they never witnessed wrongdoing, but others described feeling cornered, worried that refusing the Lively Reynolds requests could ruin both production timelines and their own standing in Hollywood. Meanwhile, PR agencies charged with crisis management were dropping the ball in every direction, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of scandalous headlines. Yet the drama didn't stop there. Candace Owens insisted that behind the big budgets and glossy marketing campaigns, Hollywood elites often use hush money, carefully curated narratives, and misdirection to keep the public focus on movie premieres rather than lawsuits. Her lawsuit and public comments threatened to crack that entire facade. Suddenly, major players were reevaluating their alliances, cutting off contact, and bracing for more bombshells in court. As messy as the legal proceedings were, the personal fallout might have been even worse. A-list friends who once fawned over Blake Lively at red carpet events began quietly distancing themselves. Confidential sources claimed that Blake's controlling nature strained not only professional relationships, but also personal friendships. Invitations to exclusive Hollywood gatherings became sparse. Rumors even suggested that certain celebrity couples, once close to Blake and Ryan, had removed themselves from the picture entirely. They wanted nothing to do with the swirling accusations of extortion and manipulation. Some speculated about how this was affecting Blake and Ryan's marriage behind the scenes. Were the tensions from the lawsuits creeping into their private life? Could Ryan, who had stepped up as his wife's defender, now be reconsidering how far he was willing to go for someone who might have orchestrated so many damaging moves? Candace Owens capitalized on the moment, pointing out how Blake's alleged inability to handle adversity without turning to intimidation tactics was turning the whole town against her. Industry observers noted that no matter the result of the lawsuits, Blake's once untouchable personal brand would never quite be the same. It's hard to remain the darling of Hollywood when every tabloid front page questions your integrity and mocks your tantrums. In the end, it seems that the unstoppable Lively Reynolds duo discovered a truth they might have overlooked. Power can be fleeting, even for A-listers. Once the lawsuit dust settles, and it's far from over, Blake Lively's carefully curated image may be irreparably fractured. Candace Owens' unyielding push for accountability ensured that this wasn't just going to be resolved with polished PR statements or quiet payoffs. Suddenly, the usual Hollywood script of scandal denial forgiveness no longer applied. Ryan Reynolds, for all his charm and comedic timing, has been left grappling with a ruined defense, mountains of legal bills, and the potential fallout on his own brand. The couple that once seemed like a match made in entertainment heaven now stands in a lonely spotlight, unsure which allies remain and who's secretly distancing themselves for good. And so, we're left with a cautionary tale. The mightiest public image can still shatter when pushed to its limits. Beneath the glamorous clothes, witty tweets, and blockbuster roles, real ambition, resentment, and questionable decisions can tear through any facade. Will Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds manage to rebuild, or will they remain a Hollywood pariah story, cautioning others not to let power plays and secret agendas get the best of them? Those final questions linger, and no one, perhaps not even Blake and Ryan, knows for sure what happens next. In a world fueled by high-stakes deals and instant headlines, the story is far from finished. But one thing is certain, The veneer of Hollywood's perfect couple has been permanently cracked, and audiences everywhere are waiting to see if either of them can piece it back together, or if the truth will continue unraveling thread by glittery thread.